Hey folks, Sneaky Teak here, coming at you with the first of hopefully many weekly updates. The Sneaky Teak Weekly here on YouTube. These are intended to be very casual, unscripted, just a chance to kind of be informed of what's going on with the channel, what's going on my stream, any upcoming events, and to offer a bit more of a peek at the man behind the curtain, as it were. So that's the idea. Thank you all for joining me. These are intended to be casual. They're also intended to be fairly short, perhaps not as dense as my run highlights or any analytical deep dives that I go into for games that we're playing. And so in this first one, I figured that I would just give you a bit of background on the creator, who I am, where I come from, how I got started making content, and a bit of what is to be, right? What is my goal? What is my vision on YouTube and beyond? So again, I'm Sneaky Teak. I started content creation with my very first Twitch stream back in March 16th of 2018. That was a Friday. I played the game Battle Right, which was like a MOBA except without any of the lane management, purely team battles. Actually a really cool game. I liked it quite a lot. But actually I think that I started streaming, or at least I started engaging in presentational gameplay, right? Social and presentational gameplay far before then. Because before I streamed on Twitch in 2018, I played thousands of hours of MMOs, particularly World of Warcraft. Not just playing, but leading guilds and raid leading, pushing in-game content. I wasn't like top in class, best in the world or anything, but I really played the game a lot. And that was the first time when a game started to become more than just the time while clicking the buttons. Because when I wasn't logged into the game, I was probably reading a forum somewhere about how to get better at my class, about how to optimize dailies. There's a lot of gaming around the game, right? With a core MMO like that. And so a lot of that kind of social aspect was taught to me there. But even before that, my true origin, I think, was a long time ago, back in middle school. Let me tell you the story. If you watch my stream, you may have heard this story before. It's been a while since I told it, but it's a classic. It's a classic. It'll hit you right in the nostalgia, I hope. I've been playing video games for a long time. That's my chosen canvas on Twitch. It's my chosen canvas here on YouTube. It is, as I say, a canvas, right? The game is actually not the point. It's a mechanism. It's a vessel. But I love games. When I was very, very young, I was given an original Game Boy, the one that took like 8 batteries. Played Super Mario Land on that. Maybe Super Mario Land 2? I played this on stream at some point, but I can never remember if it's a world or a land and if it's a 1 or a 2. I think it was Super Mario Land 2, but I'm not totally sure. Then growing up, with Nintendo, with games, my first real game love was Banjo and Kazooie. Loved the N64 and particularly loved Banjo and Kazooie because that's a game I played with my mom. And she would help me take notes on what the things were that the good witch said. Was it Bruntilda? There was Gruntilda, the evil witch, and then her sister. Maybe it was Brintilda, something like this. We took notes on the things she said, which mattered for the very end of the game. But in many ways, I think that my origin was with a game that I hold very dear to my heart, close and dear to my heart, which is Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. Because before Morrowind, I mostly just played whatever was available. Platformers for the N64. I was into Pokemon at that time. I played a lot of Pokemon games. And then a very good friend of mine who is actually out and about on the world of the internet as well, Aaron Dismuke. He's a voice actor and director and writer. He's a brilliant guy, an incredible creator, a real Renaissance man, I think, and a great friend of mine, a lifelong friend of mine. At the time, he had a PC, and he came to me and he said, Teak, it's time to embrace PC gaming. You got to play this game, Morrowind. You're going to love it. I think the first time we played it was actually at his house. Get to Satanin and walk outside and you see the colossal mushrooms. For someone who had only played, kind of confined, manicured experiences of console platformers and action and adventure games, to suddenly see this alien world of Morrowind was so incredible, made all the more so by the social experience of playing it with my friend, getting invested in the quest lines and trying to figure out how to outwit the Dark Brotherhood, right? And so we really enjoyed playing and talking about this game for a long time, but then something very crucial happened, which is that Aaron's computer died. One day it just stopped working. Me today, maybe, could have looked into it and helped him fix it, but me then, we were way beyond our depth. That computer was kaput. There was nothing we could do. But we had one line. I'm pretty sure Aaron suggested this. He said, I want to play Morrowind. You want to play Morrowind. We like to play together. So why don't I call you on the landline and you can tell me what's happening and we'll play together. We're at our individual houses. So here we are every night for like weeks, maybe months, with me, on the landline. They were this big, so it's a little easier than this frog, but sandwiched on my neck. I probably have a lifelong, damage to my neck from sitting and playing Morrowind like this for hours and hours at a time for days, weeks, months. And I would tell him what was happening. I would say, okay, we got this quest. And I would read it to him and he'd be like, whoa, do you remember this? Maybe we go to this one place and we pick up an item. Or the classic interaction was, if you've played Morrowind or Elder Scrolls games, the landscape of Morrowind is littered with ruins. And in particular, there are these things that are called Dwemer ruins, which was this ancient kind of technologically advanced race that left behind all these steampunk ruins. And young Teak was scared to death of every cave and cavern and ruin. And so I would walk up and kind of begrudgingly say, there's a Dwemer ruin. Maybe we don't need to go in. And Aaron would say, yes, we do. We will go in that ruin. We will explore that ruin. And this is kind of how it went. Me trying to convince him that we didn't need to explore the ruin and him telling me that we did. We played like this for a long time. And I loved it, but more currently, looking back, it's clear to me that that was really my first stream, right? It wasn't in March of 2018. It was in like 2002. Playing Morrowind over the phone with my best friend. And I think that became the norm, not the exception for me. Games have always been a very fundamentally social experience for me. Something meant to be shared with others. Either represented, played collaboratively. In some way, you had to add other people into the experience. They expanded that same way. Honestly, I feel this way about most media. I'm a fundamentally extroverted person. And so when I read a book, I want to tell someone about it. Share the experience with them, tell them how I felt, what I reacted to, if the characters were relatable and believable. And games are a really, really natural vessel for social and collaborative experience. And so in March of 2018, I ran that first stream, and my goal was really simple at the time. I was living in San Francisco. I was working a full-time day job, which I loved. Everybody I worked with was awesome. I believed in the product we were making. It was a good gig for all intents and purposes. But I kind of had one of those days to where I woke up and realized that I didn't feel that I was able to express myself as creatively as I would like. And that's okay. It wasn't part of my job description. I wanted a creative outlet. And as with so many things in life, it feels that the outcome of make stream was very arbitrary. A beautiful accident. And I think so much of my life has been exactly that. Stumbling into something lovely, right? Because it was just a few weeks before that I had been watching Twitch. When I was in college, one of my friends introduced me to it because they were learning how to play FTL, and they found someone on YouTube, and I followed that YouTube back to Twitch. Actually, one of my first stream inspirations, Lethal Frag, suggested to me, based on their YouTube, And eventually I found the Twitch. I had just happened to watch Twitch a few times in the weeks before March 16th. I really have never been a habitual Twitch watcher. It wasn't something I was doing regularly. I didn't have months or years of thinking I wanted to be a professional gamer. I'd never wanted to be an esports pro. It's not something that I see in myself, right? It was so arbitrary that week I decided that Twitch would be the way that I express myself. But that's what I chose. And I bought a microphone. I already had a gaming PC set up. I had a great internet connection where I was. A friend loaned me their webcam. I'm still using it today. I have a better camera that I'd really, a nice mirrorless that I need to set up, but you can get a lot of mileage out of a webcam with some good lights. Seriously. Yeah, totally arbitrary. And I sat down that Friday and I played Battleright. And my goal was simple. Present a game. That's it. Just like I did with Aaron with Morrowind. As if the room was full of people, play the game and talk about it. What am I thinking? What am I learning? What surprised me? And it really clicked. It really clicked. It within that first week. First it was Battleright. I played some Rocket League, I think, that first week. Within a week or two, I played Darkest Dungeon, and Darkest Dungeon became perhaps my first real success and investment on the stream. After that was Slay the Spire, the big dog. Within a week, it was clear to me that it wasn't just going to be a hobby. Seriously, it was that visceral. By the end of the week, I had settled on a full-time streaming schedule, and I was asking myself questions about, like, what is my vision? Not just, do I want to play the game? What is my vision? What's my lifelong vision with streaming? I was already kind of thinking of it naturally as a career and as an investment, and not just as a hobby, as a side journey, right? And I think that what has unfolded since then has unfolded very organically. Not to say it's been easy, it's been a lot of work, but when I allow myself to, the process of content creation, whether on stream or now on YouTube, will teach me things about what I like, what I want, and how to get there. Because when I first started streaming, what did I say? I played Battleright. I played Rocket League, which I still love. I've played like 1,600 hours of Rocket League. It's a perennial favorite of mine. I was playing Destiny 2 off stream. Morrowind, historically big open world RPGs. I was playing a lot of very action heavy games, and I was playing a lot of big AAA titles. But what was my first real breakthrough on stream was Darkest Dungeon. And then my second, Slay the Spire. 27 hours. 2,700, sorry, I lost a couple zeros. 2,700 hours of playtime in Slay the Spire on stream. And that was maybe one of my first big lessons, is that stream activated a lot of the same joys playing games by myself or with my friends, but it also activated new ones. It taught me how much I love the process of not just playing, but presenting deeply tactical games, because I have played turn-based tactical games, right? I said growing up I played Pokemon, so there's some turn-based gaming, and I've always loved Fire Emblem, which is a tactical RPG series. But like roguelites, core, deeply cerebral, and frankly, incredibly punishing games, an entire new genre for me. I don't think I really knew what rogue meant before I started streaming. But the episodic nature of roguelite games and that kind of deep analysis and tactical consideration, it was perfect for live content creation. And so streaming taught me to appreciate new games and to appreciate games in new ways, and has guided me towards different types of presentation over time. And that's kind of where we are today, both on stream and on YouTube. I tend to have a focus on those really deep, really cerebral games, usually, with some exceptions, that provide a vivid canvas for me to discuss decision making. I really think that's a big part of what I enjoy. And what's been curious is to see the door open back up to action games. I have several hundred hours as an example of creating content on Risk of Rain 2, one of my favorite games over the last several years, and it is certainly not slow or turn-based. But it still has that element of thoughtful engagement with builds and of prioritization, right? Considering short-term need with long-term investment, risk and return, right? And so that's kind of what I've been making on stream. I have a slightly different content vision for YouTube. Part of the reason I'm excited to become more entrenched in the YouTube space is I think that, evergreen video offers a natural home for a different type of content that I can't always get to in a live stream environment. Like I said in my Nada video, those deeper dives, those analyses to where I have to sit down and actually plan something out and do math and crunch numbers and do research and look into code. And so I think that's kind of my long-term goal, is to establish stream as the live hub for exploration, interaction, and community, and YouTube as that evergreen source of incredible moments of highlighted footage and of specific produced for YouTube content that I couldn't quite do in a live stream environment, whether that be tutorial content, whether that be, kind of game design considerations, off the cuff ideas, or just creative projects. And in the coming weeks and further weekly updates, I'll talk more about the balance of stream and YouTube and about how I've been thinking and rethinking about my journey on YouTube. It's too big. We've already gone longer than I planned. It's too big for the first weekly update. So we're gonna hold. I'll talk a lot more about YouTube and some of the balancing acts that I'm experiencing on the platform. But before I leave this weekly update, I think I want to really emphasize something, because I talked about myself, my background, loving games, and the kind of creative expansion of making content. What do I want, right? What's my goal in terms of the thing that I present? But what I haven't gotten to is that bigger picture, because you might recall that I said within the first week I was thinking, what is my vision for stream? I watched a Day 9 daily at that time. I wish I could remember which one it was. Maybe in post I'll go back and find it and link it, because it's fantastic. It actually was weirdly coincident with some of the things that I was working on and talking about in my day job too. It was like my worlds were colliding. And the Day 9 daily talked about basically setting a mission and vision, thinking bigger than just what you want to make, but why you want to make. Because there's power in that. We're not driven by the thing, we're driven by the purpose. Both as a creator and as a receiver, as the viewer, as the listener. When a thing has a why, a really strong purpose, it's much easier to make decisions, and it's much easier to rally behind, right? And so what started as this hobby, just a side idea to present some video games, quickly became something that I needed to align more purpose with, right? If I were going to make a career out of it, if I were going to build it, it needed to be more than just play game. Something that I was really engaged with at work, something that I see happening in various industries right now, is an increased focus on diversity and inclusion. It's beautiful. I want to see, and I know that this may seem strange coming from this face, right? Like white man, long beard on Twitch. But there's power there too, right? I have a chance to use my position, my privilege to help make this space. I wanted my experience of playing Morrowind to be a guide for how to make that kind of space on the internet. Because it was clear to me at that time that we're at a watershed moment in human history. Not just local history, not just video game history, but human history, as we quickly turn into an age to where the majority of our interactions are happening online in social, digital, and pseudonymous spaces, to where information flows more freely than water, but might be slightly less clear. There are people who are far smarter than me who will get degrees and do research and teach college classes about digital etiquette and, internet design and global cyber law. And that's great. That's important. There are people who will build out nonprofits to serve certain specific, largely digital purposes. And I think that's excellent too. And I hope to support those as I discover them. But what I thought that I could do is something very practical, right? Which is use my experience of games as a unifying force, as a collaborative and social force to help make the space that the internet needs. And so that quickly became my vision, which is to make the most open, inclusive, and accessible stream, and now content suite, community on the internet, a place where anyone can belong. It's a goal so large that it will encompass me. I can never reach it, not perfectly, right? But that idea gives me a lot of drive, and it helps me make difficult decisions. That idea of making that wonderful safe space on the internet to where people from all around the world, from all different backgrounds, all different genders and sexual identities and socioeconomic backgrounds and all different races, first languages, time zones, can rally around that beautiful, vivid canvas, the game, because we have this unifying thing. We have this thing we all enjoy that we look at differently but experience equally as a source of simple fun, whether that be escape or learning or competition. And so that's what I want. That's what I've wanted since that first week with Stream, and something that I'm trying to figure out how to work into the YouTube experience too, how to emphasize that, right? And so maybe this week for the weekly update, first of all, I just want to say thanks again for coming by, for checking out the channel, for watching the videos, however it is that you've engaged with my content so far. I deeply appreciate it. I'm humbled by every moment. There's so much content on the internet. And so any time that you spend here with me is precious. Just want to leave you with a couple different things. First of all, this is my career. It's my full-time job. I'm doing my best to make it work. But at the end of the day, this is how I get my paycheck. So if you'd like to support the content here on YouTube or on the stream, patreon.com/sneakyteak is my Patreon. Twitch.tv/sneakyteak is my Twitch stream. And hey, you can support without spending any money. Just watching my videos or watching the stream does a lot for me. You can also support my vision without even touching a single thing that I make. Not a dollar, not a second of your time. If I leave you with anything, just remember, there's always time for kindness. If you engage with my content and you engage with my streams or my YouTube in the comment section, don't ask just what you want from the experience, but how your behavior will affect others. Listen to the people around you. If we do all those things, just a little bit of active empathy, we will approach, I think, that space on the internet to where anyone can belong. And for me, that seems like a pretty great thing. So thanks for coming by, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. It's casual and unscripted and strange, but I hope a good mechanism for me to, juggle a little information about me and a lot of information about upcoming content. Next week, like I said, I'll probably talk more about YouTube content vision, and otherwise look forward to all sorts of content on the channel in the upcoming weeks. More Storybook Brawl highlights. Starting a strange horticulture series this week. I played a full playthrough. One of my most anticipated games of 2022. So please enjoy. That's it from me. Peace out.